everyone to the second pre-hackathon webinar of Astra DB's Build-A-Thon. We're so glad that so many of you are joining in for this workshop today. We will just give a few minutes for our colleagues to join in, and then we can quickly begin. So in the meantime, sit back, relax, and we'll get back to you in a bit. All right, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to whichever part of the world you're joining us today. Welcome to the second pre-hackathon workshop of Astra DB's Build-A-Thon. We are so glad that so many of you have joined us for this workshop today, and we are extremely elated with the amazing response that we are getting for the hackathon itself. With that, let me quickly share with you what's in store for you today. So this workshop is definitely the second in series to the Build with Astra DB series. We're going to talk about how to get started on Astra DB, and definitely, I think a lot of your favorite topic, how to learn to create a Netflix clone on Astra DB. So this workshop and the hackathon is powered to you by AngelHack and DataStax. And we have the AngelHack and DataStax team on this call today. So let me just give a quick shout out of the team before we start off with the agenda. So I'm Asta from AngelHack, and I take care of accounts, and I'm here for you today hosting this workshop. Apart from that, I have my colleague Zale from AngelHack, and definitely my friends and colleagues from DataStax. So we have Jack, Cedric, and Aaron. Thank you so much, guys, all of you, for taking time out and joining us for this workshop. All right, so let's see what is the agenda for you for today. Basically, we just give a quick introduction to Astra DB's Build-A-Thon, a very interesting hackathon that is powered by AngelHack and DataStax. We then go ahead and introduce you to Astra DB. Of course, that's what we are here for, and how to get started. And then the most interesting topic of all, and I heard a lot of chatter on our Slack channels about how can we create a Netflix clone on Astra DB? So that's something that we're definitely going to discuss. And finally, some questions and closing notes on the next steps. Excited? We definitely are. All right, so just a quick overview on Astra DB's Build-A-Thon. I would not bore you with a lot of details. We have a website, we have a participants guide for all of you to get everything you need to know about Astra DB's Build-A-Thon. But just a quick one, it's a virtual hackathon. It's a little different from your usual hackathons. We have a series of mini challenges for you, starting from the 21st of Feb to the 28th of May. And that all builds to a grand finale, which is in the form of a demo day. You got that right. So it's 3 months, 3 different challenges, or shall I say a series of challenges. And all that would come to you as a surprise. So that's something that we are holding back, but we would definitely let you know about the challenges as we progress in the challenge months. But from your perspective, I think it's a really a true side hustle hack, as we call it, because the flexibility of participating is at its peak. So yes, we completely understand your time is precious. And that's why we have kept it completely flexible. You could participate in one of the challenges or all the 3 challenges. That's absolutely okay. And from the perspective of rules, while we want you to create magic, we want you to test your creativity and give us some innovative solutions. All you have to do and all you have to keep in mind is have Astra DB at your backend. That's about it. So what is the schedule for the hackathon? If you're attending this workshop today, or you are live with us on YouTube, or you would be seeing the recording post this, basically you are somewhere over here. This is the second workshop that's happening in the Build with Astra DB series. The first happened on the 4th of Feb. For all of those who have missed the first workshop, we also have the recording for you. So we could share it with you. And that was also live on YouTube. So we'll be sharing the recordings with you. Next up is the challenge month. So yes, we are very, very excited that we are going to release the first set of challenges next week, and that's starting Monday next Monday. So we have the challenge statements released for the first mini series, and then we have a workshop coming up for you in the Build with Astra DB series. That's happening next Friday, same time. That is the 25th of Feb. Followed by team formation and idea pitching session where you could network with your fellow hackers. And definitely we would love to guide you. And there is a bunch of colleagues from DataStax who would be there available for the mentor office hours, who would be guiding you for your various projects. Submission deadline for the first mini challenge is coming up on March 18th, followed by judging and the winner announcement of the first challenge. Now, this is just the schedule of the first challenge month. We definitely have more challenges. That is the next 2 challenges to go. In case you want to know more about the time schedule, you can get all of the details in Participants Guide, which is available to all the participants who have registered. For all of you who are still yet to register with us and have come for this workshop, I hope you find this really interesting. And at the end of the workshop, we can see you as a registered participant, and we would send across the participants guide. With that, we would come to how to participate. Like I mentioned, a side hustle hack, we wanted to keep it really simple. So just a few steps, 4 steps with which you can start participating. After you've successfully registered, all you need to do is join the Hack Slack, because that's where all the information about this hackathon is coming up. We would love for you to join, sign up for Astra DB. So the links are available on our website. It's also available on the participants guide. Please go there, click on it, and register, create your Astra DB account today, because that's what you're going to build your solutions on. And also be mindful, we would definitely love for you to join the DataStax Discord community. That's where you can meet your fellow hackers, you can meet your fellow community members, and a lot of information is there. There are a lot of cool workshops that are also hosted by DataStax in the developer Discord channel, so we would love for you to join that. Attend at least 1 hackathon learning workshops. Now, this is the second one in the series of Build with Astra DB. We have another 3 coming up in the various challenge months. So you can just attend any one and gain those leaderboard points. And also we would have learning pathways as we go along, which could give you detailed information about how to get started on Astra and other details. So do go ahead and attempt that. The next step is form teams. Obviously, if you're looking for the right team members, we have organic ways to find team members and then create that hackathon team of yours. All that is available again on the participants guide. So do go ahead and have a look at it. And last but not the least, start ideating and build those solutions. So that's how you participate. And now, what do you get out of participating out of the hackathon? So we have some really, really cool prizes and swag available for you. Now, like we mentioned, it's definitely very flexible in terms of how you want to participate. And that's why we have posts for monthly challenges and the grand finale. Now, for the monthly challenges, as a team, the winners would be getting 2,500 USD. The first runners-up would be getting 1,500 USD, and the second runners-up would be getting 1,000 USD as a team. So those are the monthly prizes that you would be getting for each challenge month. Now you can participate in one, or you can participate in all the 3. But the winners of all the monthly challenges would then go for a demo day, which is what we call a finale, where the judges will pick up the top winners and crown those. So the winners of the hackathon, the winning team would get USD 5,000. The first runners up as a team would get 3,000 USD, and the second runners up would get 2,000 USD. So those are the prizes in store for you. Now, this is not it. We have a lot of other prizes in store for you. Now, in terms of engagement awards, if we talk about, now, while we mentioned you can definitely participate in any one of the challenges, but if you're participating in all the 3 challenges, the top 3 teams are getting 500 USD each. You got that right. Now, I don't know if you've just come alone for the hackathon or you've actually pulled a friend or colleague, but if you haven't, still do that right now, today, because the top 2 hackers with the maximum referrals for the hackathon are actually getting USD 250 each. So get your referral code from your welcome email and start referring your friends and colleagues. Now, all those people who are successfully completing those learning pathways, 60 top winners per month would be getting USD 50 each for completing the learning pathways. But this is not it. We have got some amazing swag for you as well. Now, we have something called the leaderboard, and once you've started participating, you'll get to know a lot more about it. But basically, the top 10 hackers of the leaderboard would actually be getting Astra DB swag box worth $200. The next set of hackers, which are the next 20 hackers, would be getting very cool Astra DB hoodies. And then the rest of the 100 hackers would be actually getting t-shirts. I don't know about you, but I am really excited looking at these prizes. Unfortunately, as an organizer, I can't win any of them, but I'm sure you must be really excited to participate and win a few of those. Now, with that, I think I've talked a lot about the hackathon itself, and we are almost 10 minutes ahead of the webinar. So I would like to call upon now my friend and colleague, Aaron. He is a developer advocate at DataStax, and he will take us through on how to get started on Astra DB. So over to you, Aaron.
All right. Thank you, Esther. I'm going to need to share my screen here. There we go. And I'm going to share and say yes. And oh, come on. There we go. So I just have a little bit, different intro screen here. I saw that there were some folks on from around the world, including Indonesia, actually, where someone's up at 11 p.m. 2300. So we really appreciate you coming in. I'm actually from Minnesota, where it's always pretty cold. Today it's actually negative 6.6 Celsius, and that's one of the warmer days we've had in a very long time. So up here we tend to embrace our environment. So this is me skiing with my Siberian Husky Sadie. We did a 10-kilometer race a couple years ago. So yeah, there you go. So one of the things for the hackathon that we're trying to make sure that that everyone does is that they use Astra DB as a part of your app. So of course we have to answer the question of what is Astra DB. Well, essentially, Astra DB is our DataStax, that is, database as a service. It is built on top of Apache Cassandra. So all of the best-in-class features that you get with Apache Cassandra, like high availability, multi-data center awareness, it's high performance, all that comes with Astra DB, but it comes in a way where it's as a service and we manage it for you. So all of the headaches of managing a large-scale database cluster are really not yours to worry about. So yeah, it really gives you the ability to develop applications so quickly, because you can have a full highly available database cluster running in minutes. And in fact, I'm going to show you a little bit about how to do that as well too. So yeah, so moving on. Astra DB also comes with some extra add-ons to help you get started and help you move along. We have Stargate, which is actually our API that sits on top of Astra DB. It allows you to interact with it using like a REST call or GraphQL, or even a JSON-based document API. And that's all done with a authorization token. And it makes it really easy to interact with your database. Likewise too, if you're from a more traditional like system level tech background, kind of like I am, you'll like our CQL shell, which is a command line interface for Astra DB, and allows you to use the CQL query language to query your tables, build out your structure. CQL, if you've used SQL in the relational database world, you'll find that CQL has a very similar feel to it, although it's not quite as robust as SQL is. Anyway, additionally, what we also have is the DataStax bulk loader, or DS bulk as we like to call it. Essentially, what it does is it gives you a quick way to load large data sets into Astra DB. And it's one of the common tools that we use with our migration path that we offer out to our customers as well. So it makes it really easy to load a lot of data quickly. And then of course too, we have our like integrated metrics dashboards, so you can view cluster health and watch for things like read latency and and really get an idea of how your database is performing. So what can you build with Astra DB? Well, when you first log into Astra DB, you'll see a screen similar to this, and there's a button on the left in the left navigation called the Sample App Gallery. And really what happens is when you click into that, you can see our entire collection of sample applications, which has been submitted by various folks. We have I think a couple hackathons ago, I think some of the the apps ended up in here from that. Usually when we build one out in a workshop, it ends up in here. You can see the Netflix clone that Cedric's going to be talking about today is here, as well as the Better Reads clone from a workshop we ran actually just a few days ago. But there's many applications out here for you to check out and get ideas about what you can build and what you can do with the database. So if you want to know more about building out with Astra DB, we actually have a YouTube channel called DataStax Developers, and it is full of instructional videos with step-by-step tutorials on how to build out all of these applications that that we have out there, as well as we cover things like like data modeling and even all the way up to like microservice architecture if you really want to understand more about architecting your application. Also on our DataStax Developers channel, we have a quick bootcamp video series that we've done that again, it kind of takes you through an introduction to Apache Cassandra, a little bit through data modeling, how to build a full stack application, and then again, taking that microservices approach with Cassandra via an API. But yeah, I definitely recommend checking that out. There's lots of resources out there that can help you really take your application to the next level. Talked about data modeling a bit, but we actually do have a instructional site off of our datastax.com/dev site that has all kinds of resources for developers, including like a multi-part learning series on how to build out appropriate data models for distributed databases, talking about like differences from the relational world, and really helps you understand the tools that will help you build like high performing data models, because that's ultimately what you want in the end. So how do we get started on Astra DB? Well, simply put, you can go to the link that you see here of astra.dev/build-a-thon. And I'm going to do that right now here. So if I go to that link, you see that it's going to bring me to a login page. Now, of course, you can create a brand new account Or if you have an existing account, you can go ahead and hit the sign in link down here. We offer like single sign on with GitHub and Google as well. So I'll just go ahead and do a quick sign in, and I'll sign in with Google. And here we go. It brings me right to my my Astra dashboard. You can see that I actually do have a one active database out here. I have another that's on standby. Yes, if you've been out on Stack Overflow and asked a question about Cassandra, odds are I've helped you out before. I actually have a Aaron Stacko database that I use to reproduce all of the questions that people ask, so I can accurately kind of help them out. But yeah, when you go through and you get signed in, creating a database is very simple. I'll just call mine Hackathon. A key space name is really more of an analog to like a logical database in the relational world. So for this one, I'll just say Hackathon DB. Sure, that's fine. You can pick your provider. I'm in North America, so I'll stick with US East 1 for Google, and I can create. And this will likely take a couple of minutes to come up. You can see that my Hackathon database is in a pending state, but that's really all there is to it. I mean, in the last 2 minutes here, you've watched me create a database that, behind the scenes is highly scalable, highly available. If I have a sudden like burst of traffic, my database will actually scale to kind of meet those traffic needs. So yeah, that's really as simple as it is. I think at this point, yes, I can hand it back to you, Asta. How about that?
Thank you so much, Aaron. I think, I don't know about the rest of us, but at least for me, who was a first-time Astra user or a very naive Astra user, that was really, really helpful. And it's really easy to log in and start creating that database on Astra. So thank you so much for sharing that, Aaron. And
welcome.
Yes, now it's time to talk about the topic that has been of interest for most of the hackers. That is how to get started on creating a Netflix clone of Astra DB. Now for that, I am not the expert, definitely, but I would like to call the expert. So I would like to call in Cedric, who is the Director of Developer Advocates and Data Stacks. And Cedric, over to you to take us through the next section.
All right, thank you very much. So let me share my screen very quickly. Sure. Let's do it. Yeah, all right, I'm now sharing. All right, okay, thank you very much, both Asha and Aaron, to introduce the concept and Astra overall. In the next few minutes, I would like to explain you one example of app we have built on top of Astra. As Aaron stated, it is in the sample app gallery. So there you will find all the instructions and all the code, and you can reproduce that, at home. It's totally free. There is nothing, nothing to pay, of course. And in the same sample app gallery, you will have plenty of samples. So the Netflix clone has been built with a JavaScript technical stack. So the web UI is built in React, hosted in Node.js. And for the backend, we have used Netlify, which is a Jamstack way of working in JavaScript. So you don't have to implement a backend yourself. You will create some JavaScript functions, deploy them, and they will act as API. And you will see exactly what it looks like. So let's go into these components. The way I will work is pretty easy. I will start with the database, then the function, then the UI, okay? So for the database, Aaron show you how easy it is to create Astra DB. So let me show you that. Here on the left part of my screen, I do have a README, and I can share the README with everybody right now. So here, and here is all the instructions step by step how to build it. Okay, what is the materials? What are all the slides I'm using? And here you see how it works. So the first things we ask people to do is to create an Astra database. So right click that button, get the Astra DB. But I've seen in the chat already, some of you already have an instance. Probably some of you also did the same steps as Aaron. Me, this is what my Astra, this is my Astra homepage look like. I do have a couple of databases as well. And here I will use the database called workshops. And inside the database, you can have multiple key spaces. Key spaces is a logical grouping of table. The best practice is to have one key space per application, because you can have some visibility based and replication factor based on the key space. So that's, you know, the way to split things. So here we will work with a key space called Netflix. And this is why in the instruction you are asked to provide the Netflix key space. Okay. So then for anything you need to do with Astra, you need to create some credentials, user password. Those credentials, in the case of Astra, are called tokens. So you go to organization settings, token management, pick a role. What we like to do is picking the database administrator role, the guru. That guy can do everything, so that's the best. And I'm generating a token. In a token, you see three fields: client ID, client secret, token. The one I would like to use today is this token. Okay, so what I like to do is copy that token, put that token somewhere on a text file I can find later, because I need to reuse that to code. Okay, so the database is set. I do have a token. I'm ready. Now my job will be to put some data in Astra. Okay, so let's Astra come back and come on. Okay, please come back. Let me go back to the home page. Here it is. Okay, so the database is set. All right. As Aaron showed to us or explained to us, Astra offers a lot of interfaces, and you, during the hackathon, you can use whatever you like. If you're confident with invoking Cassandra query language, the good old way Cassandra, do it. But Astra also offers APIs, REST APIs, document-oriented APIs. If you're familiar to MongoDB, this is the way you will go. GraphQL API. So here we are using JavaScript. JavaScript fits more the API world and not really the Cassandra query language. So let's use an API. Which one? I can pick the one we like. For this application, we choose to go with GraphQL API. Okay. All right. So GraphQL, so quickly, super popular, new way to expose APIs introduced in 2016. The principle is you expose objects and method functions, and all of a sudden, the API is exposed. You can discover the API, you can see the schema, you see which functions are available. And when you invoke this GraphQL API, you only specify what you need. Okay, so if I request an object with 3 fields, I can only ask for 1 field. The idea is to limit the payload. Ask only what you need and limit the payload. So very good for any front-end or mobile apps, right? You want to reduce the payload because sometimes the bandwidth is not as good as you expect. So here, don't want to read the slide, but GraphQL is kind of a sweet spot for the Netflix we want to do. So to build that, we will use GraphQL and a web UI shipped with GraphQL, also available in Astra. Pretty cool, right? So let's have a look. Let me find my Astra. Okay, so here is my database workshop. I can go to connect, and here in the connect tab, I see a lot of ways to connect to Astra. You know, all the interfaces I've shown you, document API, GraphQL API, or core Cassandra, or even a new way to go like gRPCs. So here I told you GraphQL. So here I'm going to GraphQL API. And here, as you can see, there is the web UI. I can start right away. Okay, so I'm starting here on a new tab, something called the GraphQL playground. I told you to do anything with Astra, you need to provide a token to authenticate. So here I do have hey, I cannot reach the server. You did not provide me any credentials. So here at the bottom, you can put in the either the expected token, and then you can execute some function. So here I'm on the endpoint working with the schema. So yeah, I have listed the key space available. Netflix is one of them. I've told you GraphQL is expose the schema, and here you do have it and see, hey, this is the schema available and the documentation. Oh, so for these endpoints, I can invoke this key space, and this is all the fields I can provide. All right. But what we want to do is to create tables, import data, and start interacting with those tables. In the end, under the hood, it's still Cassandra. So here, explain step 3. This is exactly what I've done. Here, a mutation is explained to create a table. So in GraphQL, you see some mutation to create something, and query for read-only. And here, if I try to create a table in the key space Netflix and try to execute that, boom, it told me, hey, I've created what you asked me. All right, now to insert, and here you see the syntax to create tables. So here I say, hey, create a table, and this is the column I need in my table. Okay, you do have the table. Next, what you want to do is put data in the table. So here is a reference list, all the genre you will find on your Netflix database. Action, comedy, drama, thrillers. This is what you want to put in this table. You will have a label and the value. So here, I will define here, I will insert stuff. So here, genre is action, genre is anime, and so forth and so on, okay? But I don't want to work with the schema anymore. Schema is done. I want to work with the data. And this is why here you do have another tab. You got an error, of course. It's different tab. You need to provide again the token. Provide the token. And provide a valid query, like insert a lot of stuff. Here, I will use that query to insert a lot of stuff. And the last part is what I need to work with is the Netflix key space, okay? So now with all these, I can insert some data. You see, now I do have my data inserted. And if you don't believe me, I can show you very quickly using another interface, the Cassandra query language. I can go there. I can use Netflix, describe the tables to see the table we have created. So reference list, and I can show you the content of reference list. Select from, and as you can see, pretty close to SQL, but not exactly the same. So not using the command line, but using the GraphQL API, I was able first to create a table and then to insert data. Okay. Keep moving. Now I do have my data. Is there a way to request this data? Because in your app, in your JavaScript app, this is what you want to do. You want to execute a query to list all the genre. It will be your first query in the UI just to display the swim lane, one swim lane per genre. So here, get all genre, there is nowhere close. I don't change anything. And here I do have what I need, okay? Here I put the value, but I think in my database, I also add the label. So here I can also provide the label. And this is what I want you to illustrate. Ask only what you want. I don't need the label because I already provided the label in my where clause. So I just need the value, and this is how you do. And as you can see, the payload is twice smaller, pretty good for mobile or web app. Okay, create read, keep moving. So now we could create another table called movies. So going to the schema, it's the other tab. Boom. Okay, that's my movies. And then I can insert the movies as well with a GraphQL query, and it will work. And I can show you it works. Here I've inserted 4 movies, but it will take forever. How many movies do you want to insert? So you need something better to import all these data. And so to import data in Astra, you have multiple ways to do it. I will move. So you can use DS bulk, data stacks bulk, as Aaron showed to you, and you will need a CSV file. But fortunately, we also have inside Astra user interface a button like load data. Okay, that guy expects a CSV file, and the CSV file here is here. So I can download, let's see, save link as. And here I have my movies by genre file. Okay, so I'm saving that. And here, if I try to import, or you know what? I would like to rename that guy just to provide the proper extension, CSV, just to be sure. Okay, CSV. I use CSV. Yeah, you can see that. And the guy is coming here. You import your file and you populate the database with hundreds and hundreds of movies. Just saying, we don't have the intellectual property of those movies. So what I'm imported actually are the teaser. Okay, so I'm sorry if you expect to watch the latest movies on theater tonight. That won't happen. You will only have a clone and watch the teasers. Okay, so the upload is successful. I can now click next. And here I do have a small preview of what is my data. So here you need to provide a partition key. So the partition key here will be the genre. You want to list the movie by genre. This is a query you want to do. And the clustering column to ensure unicity, I think the title would be enough. Let me double check that, okay? Next. Okay, so what is my clustering key genre? Okay, we're good. And I will click next, and I will target my database, Netflix, and boom. This loading process will happen under the hood. You know, multiple people would like to import data at the same time. So it is a bulk operation that happens under the hood. I will get an email when the process starts. I will get an email when the process ends. But you know what? I've done that before that session, and I need to admit my database is already populated. Okay, so you know, no magic trick here. Just tell you that this is something I've done before. So here you get your 2 emails, and your database is created, have the proper data and that schema and the data. So of course now it's time to code. So when we do those live session every week on our YouTube channel, it's take 2 hours, and you actually code with us. So here with the reduced time, I will just show you the code. So what we ask people to do is to right-click, open in Gitpod, and open Gitpod is in a new tab. So Gitpod is VS Code in the cloud. Okay, so you don't have to install anything. VS Code is there with already the extension you would expect, a lot of extensions. So including, of course, everything you need to do some React, because here what we want to do is React. Okay, so for the web UI, here you do have a component, app.js. So the main component app that will list, so use the request page as a state, and we'll look for the data. Which data? The genre. So genre is my reference list. Remember this reference list we invoked before with just the genre. This is what I would like to invoke. Okay. And instead, instead of invoking the GraphQL API directly, and this is not what you should do in React, because remember, when we invoke the GraphQL background, you need to provide a token. And if you put your token in your web page, because it's React, everybody will see your token. So you need to have this background layer each time in between the React app and the database. So here, the background is done with something called Netlify. So Netlify is what we call Jamstack. So Jam for JavaScript, API, and Markdown. And so you just describe your backend as a function, and you deploy in the Netlify project for free. So you can have your web app running for free in Netlify. And it will also expose your backend. So here, if I go to my functions, get genre, here you see that our backend reproduce the GraphQL request, providing what's needed and also providing the proper endpoints and the token. Okay. The value for the token, here you see our environment variables. This is something I have done before. It's explained here in the description how to initiate those environment variables. So first, do npm install Netlify CLI. I've done that. Go to Astra UI and pick the GraphQL playground URL. I've done that also. And now, if you look the env file here, I do have my Astra DB token. Something the points may be small for you. Let me put that bigger. So in the cat.env token, and I do have my GraphQL endpoint. So now the Netlify function has everything it needs to invoke my background. So then with that, I can do npm install to install my app. So my app, React app. Okay, so npx create React app, and then which dependency did I use? So I provide the Netlify CLI because I need my backend to be a CLI. React frontend. Okay, so the four React stuff. I could have reviewed the web vital. Yeah, for sure. Everybody tend to start their React app by removing all the metrics. We don't care. But with that, Netlify CLI, and that's it. Look at that. There is no Astra library. There is nothing else. Astra just expose a standard GraphQL API. So you, as JavaScript, you will forge the HTTP request expected and just post them. And you post them really with the default HTTP client from JavaScript. Nothing special here. And you will get the result. Okay. When you do this, those backend are exposed on .netlify function and the name of the function. both get and post. Here, if I try to invoke with get, I get this error because I did not provide any token, so it's not happy. But let's keep it going. Now, if I run my app, so if you have seen here how to run the app, you can do Netlify dev. So this is what I will do to have my Netlify background running. And I think it's already running. Yeah, I already have a, okay, let me stop that, clear, Netlify dev. So I have already done npm install. This is why you see I probably have my folder here, node module with half of internet already downloaded. It's a JavaScript app, right? So I've done the npm install. I do have everything ready. I do have Netlify CLI. I created a function folder. So Netlify know that in the function folder, you will find a function. And then look at that. The app is starting here. Oh, maybe it's too small, so I can make it bigger. By the way, you can now access this URL. You can see the same things as I do. So look at that. So here, I have done the first query. Give me all the genre. So the first query gives me action, award meaning, children and family. And if I keep going, because it's paged, and by default, I only get the 5 first genre, just to reduce how many data are sent. So here, if I keep going, I will have more and more genre. And it is the same for V. If I list all the anime from all the action movie, here I will see all the teaser coming from the action, and it's also page. Here I only get the 5, 6, but if I click next, I will go use paging and go search for another 6. What is important to know with Cassandra is well known to host a large volume of data. 98% of the data of Netflix is on Cassandra. This is why we have picked this use case in the first place. It's a lot of data, and so you never want to do select star from a table. You always want to provide a where clause, and you also want to page because otherwise it's just too much information going your way. And here you have a sample to do paging in 2 different ways. And if you go to get genre, how the paging is done here. So we are doing the query, and here we just provide the option, page size, and page state. All right, so I was quite fast showing all of this to you, but this application has been built by a famous YouTuber, Anya Kubo, 200K subscriber, where she explains step by step why each component has been built and how to build it. Okay, I will stop there, but if you want to keep going, the next step there is to deploy. What I've done here is only available locally, but then clicking on the deploy to Netlify, the exact same app will be deployed on Netlify. And that's cool because look at that. You do have the database, nothing to install in Astra with all the data, and you do have your web app, and you don't need to host the web app, and you don't need to pay anything. Netlify is also free. So you can deploy a full-fledged app, both web and data for free. So I find it that pretty cool. Also, Netlify use all the optimization like CDN, Content Data Network. So it's a super performant way to deploy apps, and you do have the data. Now, at this point, the only thing you have to do is to buy the domain, cedric.com, just to route to this app, and you're good to go. So cedric.netflix.com. Subscribe, $20 a month. Don't hesitate. So last piece. So it was not a lot of, I keep those slides. It was not very interesting going over the slide, but this is exactly what we have done. And again, here is we share again the Discord link. You know, if you want to reach out to the Advocate team to help you for anything during the hackathon, we will be there. And look at that, we are almost 1,700 in the group. So do not hesitate, we will be there to help you. And with that, I'm done. I think I'm on time.
Thank you so much, Cedric. I think that was definitely under 20 to 25 minutes, and to get a Netflix clone ready in 20 to 25 minutes, that's just so amazing. I'm sure all the developers who've joined us for this webinar and who are viewing this on YouTube will be really amazed and probably trying this as soon as we end the workshop. But definitely from our end, we would love to try this because this is so amazing that we can create this in such a short span of time. Thank you so much, Cedric, for putting that time out for us and doing the demo for us today. Now with that, I think we are almost through the webinar, but definitely it's time for some questions. So for all of those who are there in the webinar today, we would love for you to raise your hands in case you have any queries. Please post it on chat. I would stop sharing screen a bit to probably check if you have any questions on the chat. Please feel free to raise your hands or put it on chat and we will unmute you and allow you to talk. So, but in the meantime, while the participants go ahead and start raising their hands, we have a couple of questions which are coming in from YouTube, I believe. I think the first one is, and I believe any of our panelists can take it today, is what is the difference between Astra DB and other NSQ NoSQL database? So probably Aaron, Cedric, Jack, if you could just throw some light on this question.
Yeah, sure. I could take that one. The difference between Astra and a lot of other NoSQL databases, you know, it's hard to say without knowing like which particular NoSQL database. But you know, when you're looking at something like you know, like MongoDB or CouchDB, you know, those are document databases. Those are also typically what's known as strong consistent databases, where you know, when you engineer a database and you have to make trade-offs, you know, the trade-off that they've chosen, you know, because they want to be distributed, but they'll sacrifice availability to ensure consistency. You know, they'll ensure that those writes are happening. They'll ensure that you're always getting the most recent written replica. With Cassandra and Astra, you know, we say, well, you know, we'd rather be giving a response than failing. You know, so the idea is that, you know, there's a very tiny chance that, you know, if you're in a high read throughput, high write throughput scenario, that you could get a replica that might be, you know, double-digit milliseconds old. But if you query again, you'll probably get the right one. Now again, that's not to say that you know, getting incorrect data or stale data is a worry, because those updates happen so fast. You know, but again, in a high throughput scenario, there's a chance, you know, that you could get a replica that's not quite up to date yet. So yeah, so that's where you know, the data paradigm of Cassandra and Astra kind of differs from a lot of other NoSQL databases, but yeah, that's it.
Got it. Thanks a lot for answering that, Aaron. I think another question that we're getting is, what other programming languages are available? Example, Python, Flask, etc.
Oh yeah, this one is definitely for me. So as you can see, Astra exposed a lot of the data in a lot of ways, APIs or SQL. And then you as a developer, you can pick any language and on any interface. So it's totally open, totally free. So if you pick Python, for instance, there is Python Cassandra drivers, and you can build your app using the Cassandra drivers using SQL. But also at DataStax, we provide Astra Python SDK. So all the work to invoke the HTTP API as a client using you know, Django, or as you stated, like the HTTP client for Python, we have that for you. So I will share a couple of links for you over there. But you can use Python, you can use Go, you can use JavaScript, you can use Java. Please use Java. You can use Scala, Clojure, whatever. the technology you pick to build your app, because you do have the skills, is different from Astra. Astra is there, expose you a lot of interfaces, pick and choose, and tell us why did you pick this one. Maybe it was easier for you, maybe it was already the language you are familiar with. Totally fine. It's part of the challenge.
Great. Thank you so much for answering that, Cedric. I believe you were answering Danny's question also. I saw you typing, but I think what he says is that Netlify is not mandatory in Astra DB's hackathon, isn't it? I would definitely not know.
Yeah, exactly. I
know.
was starting typing, but yeah, no, not at all. It's just a sample. Here, what I've shown you is I pick one interface, GraphQL. I pick one language is React, and one way to expose Netlify. But I could have built an Express backend. I'm still in JavaScript. I could have used an Express backend. I could have used Nest.js. I could have used, the others framework in the JavaScript world. No big deal.
Thank you so much, Cedric. I think we don't have any other questions from the participants, but just to give a feedback to the participants, in case you have any questions after this as well, while you are viewing this recording, please feel free to drop a message on the Hackathon Slack channel, or while you have joined the developer channel of DataStax, that is the Discord channel, you could probably post your query there as well. So we are all there available for you in the Hackathon Slack, as well as the DataStax developer Discord channel to answer any queries. So with that, probably I would just like to thank all the panelists. We have one more section left, which is the next steps of the hackathon. But probably before that, whichever friends and colleagues who have joined us on YouTube, I would like to thank them for their time today. We would just go ahead with the next steps for the participants who have joined this webinar live, and then we can end the session for today. Great. So just quickly moving on to the next steps for the hackathon. Just simple ones. Now that you have signed in and we are almost ready to for the first challenge month, we're really excited. I hope you are as well. Do join our hackathon Slack channel. We also have a Telegram channel, a group which is dedicated to the hackathon, where we are giving live updates on whatever is coming your way. So do register and then you can get started. Definitely. I think this webinar was all about how to get started on Astra DB and getting to know more about Astra DB, because ultimately you're going to build all your solutions in that. So do sign up for your Astra DB account if you don't have already, and join the DataStax Discord channel. The links are there on the website as well as our participants guide. So all the links are available to you. Now, while you are attending these webinars, you also have a resource page, which is available on the participants guide again. That has all the information you need to get started on Cassandra and Astra DB. So please go ahead and familiarize yourself with all those data that is available. Sign up and attend a workshop. Definitely, we have 2 which are done. So this is the second one. We have 3 more in the pipeline. The schedule is there in the participants guide and the website. Please have a look at that. And upon the completion of step 2 and 4, you would be eligible to be listed on Build-A-Thon's leaderboard. So yes, we have gamified this a bit. We have a lot of prizes in store. We were just talking about it, a lot of swag to give away for all those who are our lucky winners of the leaderboard. So do participate, make us feel your presence, and definitely ask a lot of questions, because we are here to answer all your queries. Next up, if you have not already, form your teams, because that's the key to hack. So we have organic team ways to form team. We have the free agents directory and the teams directory. People who are still not a part of the team, they're available on the free agents directory. Please feel free to look at them, connect with like-minded people and form your team. Last but not the least, we have the hackers checklist. So we have those 13 steps which would get you started and be at the best place in the hackathon. So if you've not already looked at it, do look at it, and that's your guiding point for the hackathon for the next 3 months. So with that, I think it's time to say goodbye. But before we say goodbye for tonight or evening, whichever part of the world you're joining us from, definitely would like to thank the panelists today. It was really amazing to have you, and thank you so much for doing this for us and the participants. And to all the participants, and the colleagues who have joined us. Thank you so much. We would love to host you in the next workshop, which is coming to you live on the 25th of Feb. That's next Friday, same time. So please do join us. We have a lot of content and information to be shared. With that, I would probably be signing off for today. Thank you so much and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend ahead.